Are we ready?
Yep.
It is time to call the meeting to order. I don't have my phone. What time is it? 7 o'clock? Good. Please silence your cell phones if you have them. Roll call, please.
Leonard Barnard. Ben Bishop.
Here.
Lori Coleman.
Here.
Keys. Mike
Here.
Kulak. Jane Lewis.
Here.
Tom Snowman.
Here.
Matt's here? Too, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
good.
on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. When you get up. Okay?
Yeah, it just takes time.
Yeah, I know. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We lost this last month a former paraprofessional from Lincoln School, Deb Scott. She worked at Lincoln for many years. She lived down in Dunford Lane, and she was a lovely lady. It was a very, very surprising loss. So we'll do a moment of silence for her. Thank you. Amendments to the agenda, anyone? Just me. Chad, do you know what number that is? Yes, B1. I need to pull that one from the consent agenda to, where do you want me to put it, Mr. Duranzi?
Just put it at, it will be 12 after 12E, so it'll be 12F.
12F.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Amendments to the agenda, we got good news items.
I put it in the board report for the high school, but we had our 8th grade students come to the high school for a transition tour to start the year off, and it was, I think, well received by both the students and staff, and I know the staff really works hard to sell their programs and build that relationship early with the students to a new building, and I just want to give a shout out to my staff. Great job they did.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know they look forward to seeing those shiny faces, the new ones that are coming. And I was there that night, and I kept looking at that little giant, and it kept saying class of, and I kept thinking, no, 2026. Wow. Something else. Okay, the first thing is the First Christian Church. Anybody want to talk about that? You just want me to read it? Okay. First Christian Church awarded 2 inspiring generosity grants to Lincoln Elementary School. She's not here tonight.
She's
okay.
not.
The $1,000 grant will go to Lincoln School's snack and hygiene pantry, and the $2,000 grant will go to a project that will engage students in helping make blankets for families served by Fulton Mason County Crisis Center. I know those will be really appreciated. I want to thank the First Christian Church. Building reports. Does anybody have anything they want to report? Jay reported. Anybody else? It's a quiet group tonight.
I do have a couple items. One, I don't think a lot of people are aware. Laura Franciscovich works extremely hard on our E-rate grant funding.
Mm-hmm.
We were just awarded $129,400 for our Category 2 E-rate, and for Category 1, $51,371 so far.
Mm-hmm.
This helps offset the cost of our internet access and some of our equipment switches and different kinds of things. And she's also working on E-rate to help cover the hotspot costs that we had last year. So it's an annual thing that she does. She does a great job with it, and most people don't know it's out there. So a big thank you to her. That Category 2 E-rate covers 80% of whatever the cost is out of there. So it's very significant for us.
You know what? I've been here a long time. I never knew she did that.
Yeah.
So Great, tell her we appreciate her doing that.
And I would also like to thank the principals and all the staff. As you're all aware, we transitioned to our level 2 mitigation efforts this week in all the buildings. Did a wonderful job with that. And one 7th grade student described the badges as a fast pass like Disney World, where I don't have to have the picture. That was my favorite quote. On
That is.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
sometimes it takes kids to recognize those things. Okay, anybody else? Nothing? Recognition of audience request to address the Board of Education. No audience speak? Okay. All right, consent agenda, all items marked with an asterisk are consent agenda items. Does anybody have any questions concerning the consent agenda? So we'll be going down through, oh, I forgot about that page. All those policies.
Goes through 12B.
Yep, 12B. Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Ben, second.
I'll second.
Tom, please call the roll.
Ben Bishop,
Yes.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Keys,
Yes.
Jane Lewis,
Yes.
Tom Snowman.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Consider approval of proposed 2022-2023 course description books from Canton High School. I read that book this weekend. It was my reading. And the staff and Jay did a nice job. And we are going to approve it this month, instead of waiting to next month because they're registering kids. And I looked at it and I had a few things I wanted Jay to add to it about prerequisites for classes that need safety tests. We talked about it, Tad talked with him too. So it's a good job, and it hasn't been redone for how many years?
56.
I don't know.
What'd you say?
56 years.
56 years. Well, I know it's not the one that I had.
That's when I started there.
Well, it could have been, but it was a good beginning. And you know how it's like it's kind of like our handbooks. It's a living document, but man, there's a lot of stuff in those books. And I really like the fact that they took each section and like if your kids take these classes, then these are some of the, if this is your major, these are some of the jobs you can get when you get out of school, some of the pathways you don't think about, you know? And I thought the groups and Jay, they did a good job trying to get that all in there. And I think that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And I think it's good to give the parents. So anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
please call the roll.
Ben Bishop,
Yes.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Where's he at? He's beeping.
Jane Lewis,
Yes.
Tom Snowman.
Every time, I'm not sure if you say me, because every time it says, I think you say Matt, it goes completely dead in my ear, and then it starts picking back up. So I'll assume these weird pauses are you asking me if I approve.
It kind of sounds like when
Okay.
a caterpillar backs up, you know, and it goes beep, beep. That's what you're saying before we get you. So,
Okay, got it. I approve.
okay. Consider approval of a resolution regarding the TRS supplement savings plan enclosure.
That's me.
That's you.
TRS now has a supplemental savings plan. It's another retirement plan. It's a 457B. So you could do traditional pre-tax, Roth after tax. Just put more money away from retirement that is completely separate than the already TRS that any member is putting in from their paycheck. So every school in Illinois has the opportunity to enroll. We're asking for this resolution to enroll, and then tomorrow morning it's approved. I'll go ahead and upload all the documents. Within a few days, any TRS person in the district can go ahead and log into the Voya website, and say how much money they want to take out for retirement. And then we go ahead and take up care of it on our end. Mhm.
Any questions, guys?
Good. So there's the beep. Quick question. No contribution on our behalf, right? This is completely voluntary for the employee, and there's no contribution required from the district, right?
That's correct, 100% correct. Yeah, with no contributions on our end. This is just if they want to sign up for it. And the process has been worked out. So finally, FOIA and TRS feels that they are very comfortable with it. So that's why we're approving it. And the first deduction would come out mid-March. So we still have a little bit of time. And I'll be the point man on this one. And I'll send out an email to staff tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And system wise, we can handle this, right?
Yes, we get information through our online Gemini system through TRS, and we go ahead and just go in. Actually, with Tina, will be helping out with that and put the deductions in there herself. So
this is a process the state's been working on rolling out, I'd say, for probably about 1.5 years now, and districts are required to sign up. What they have not done is put a date by which all districts have to be signed up by, but we have been told we have to do it. But it does take a resolution and board action to adopt it.
This kind of reminds me of when I taught here, we did equitable annuities. It's very similar, only they put it all in one place. It's kind of more convenient, actually. Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Anybody want to give me a motion to approve?
So moved.
Tom, second?
Second.
Lori?
Yep.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Tom Snowman,
Yes. Yes.
Jane Lewis,
Yeah.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Matt Keys,
Yes.
and Bishop.
Yes.
Okay. Consider approval of TIF District 3 Intergovernmental Agreement, IGA, between the City of Canton and the Canton Union School District.
So if you think back when TIF 2 was created, there was an intergovernmental agreement with the city for us to get a percentage of the surplus funds of the increment of TIF 2, so the increase in the value of that property. We have the opportunity to do the same thing with TIF 3 that was created a couple years ago. So it's just something we would like to move forward with. The agreement is very comparable. We get 10% of the surplus funds from that. There has not been any major development on that property since TIF 3 was created. If you look at the map, there is part of it that is omitted from the agreement. The omitted part was originally part of TIF 1, and then when they created TIF 3, it was pulled out of TIF 1 and put into TIF 3. But it's a good opportunity for the school district, and it's a potential to get some additional revenue, even though it's in a TIF, if some new construction were to happen there.
Free money.
Any questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept approval.
So moved.
Ben, second?
I'll second.
Tom, please call the roll.
Ben Bishop,
Yeah.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Matt Keys,
Yes.
Jane Lewis.
Yes.
Tom Snowman.
Yes.
Okay, reports. District metrics report. Does anybody want to say anything about it?
We have 12F.
Oh, sorry, forgot more. Okay. That's how I roll. Okay, 12F. The employment of Murray Snowman. I got to get the position now. I forgot. Employment of Murray Snowman, paraprofessional district, effective beginning January 24th, pending background check and paperwork. She's going to be our COVID girl, isn't she? Going to do the COVID work. So, any questions?
Is that? Yeah, that was my only question. I think I heard you say this is going to be our on-site tester.
Yeah, she's going to take care of the records and the testers and all that.
Yeah.
COVID. She's the COVID girl.
Okay. How do you say her first name? Just so if I ever interact with her, I know.
Oh yeah, I can't. This talking behind me drives me crazy. Murray Snowman.
Okay, it's Murray. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to hire her?
I so moved.
Ben, second.
Second.
Matt, please call the roll.
Ben Bishop,
Yes.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Matt Keys,
Yes.
St. Louis.
Yes,
Tom Snowman.
Abstain.
thank you. I'm sorry. I did that. Let's move to the district metrics finally. I was just rolling one night. So anyway, anybody have anything to say about these metrics? Do you want to, anybody? Any questions, guys?
I think the biggest highlight on it is you'll notice attendance is struggling as expected right now.
I think that's everywhere, isn't it? Though.
Yeah.
Like, have to get out of bed and come to school. Okay. Discussion items. Health, life safety 10-year district-wide survey. Oh, is that Bill?
Very good. Good evening. It's a 10-year time. So every 10 years in Illinois, all the school districts are required to perform a survey of their buildings to see what code violations they might have, to see what recommended items they might have. And our actual 10-year surveys due in January, February timeframe this year. I'd like to just sort of preview what's coming in the 10-year survey tonight and go through the fact that the items will be included in a report and eventually in a life safety amendment. The amendment work items have 5 years to be completed. And basically, will be reviewed with administration before we actually bring them to the full board. I would like to say that I think the Canton buildings are in the best shape I've seen in I don't know how many years. They are in wonderful condition. And it just speaks so highly of the district to see them. The building systems are in really good shape. I'll go through all that in a second, but it's just wonderful to see it. The major systems, HVAC, roofs, ventilation, security, asbestos abatement. These are all systems that in a lot of districts are huge amounts of money. And Canton's done a real good job in keeping everything current, keeping up to code. So it's just a wonderful way to start a report in my mind. Basically, some of the highlights of things that we have found, accessibility issues, those items that could be addressed by life safety, we don't have any of those. Items like if we ever wanted to install additional toilets, additional accessible items, those have to be done with facilities tax. Abatement, the district's done a great job. They've abated nearly all the asbestos out at Lincoln. I'm doing a real good job getting started at Ingersoll Middle School. So I'm probably not going to include anything on the 10-year survey because the district's doing so well. Bleachers, there's one set of bleachers in the district that I think needs replaced, and that is the set at Lincoln. This set is, I think, original equipment. It has dangerous to people climbing on it, using it. It has no aisles, no handrails. And not only that, but your staff has pulled it out. I'm surprised we haven't had any back injuries so far. Energy conservation, we'll review with the district where they want to continue replacing bulbs with LEDs as they're doing now, which is very good. But we might want to take a look at replacing light fixtures, especially in the exterior of the building. Maybe even some parking lot lights to see if there's energy savings that we should take advantage of there. Electrical work is in good shape in the district. Fire alarm work is in good shape in the district. The food service needs a few items. I think a grant was recently applied for. We're going to include the items unless the grant happens before we apply, but basically at the high school, a double convection oven is needed to be replaced. The dishwasher is not in good shape, and food pass-throughs at Ingersoll Middle School are questionable. The 2 units on each side for each serving line, and there's a double convection oven at Ingersoll Middle School too. Did I say ECU? No, Ingersoll
No.
Middle.
No,
Great.
correct.
Okay, good.
I didn't hear what you said the first thing at IMS. Food.
Oh, there are food warmers and food coolers right behind the kitchen. They put them in those units, and then
Yeah,
from the serving
okay.
side, you open a door. They're still operating. They just require a lot of repair. I think they're original equipment to the building. I don't think they've ever been replaced. So that'd be an item we'd like to discuss. General work includes replacement of clocks at several of the buildings. I've included a recommended item, paving work, and that's just for sidewalks. The sidewalks at the east side of the high school, portion of that is deteriorated. West side of Ingersoll Middle School, entries at Eastview and Westview, and a little bit of sidewalk work at Lincoln. The hardest one to figure is plumbing. Plumbing work, we have ongoing problems with vent systems and with water pipes at the high school. And it's just hard to put a number on how much replacement work we want to do. So I'm evaluating how far to go with that particular item, but I really think we ought to make a study in the next year and look at how we can replace the plumbing systems, or at least start on the water supply side of those buildings. Security, the district really has good security systems. I'd like to recommend that you proceed and put in what we call intruder resistant lock sets. These lock sets are lockable from the inside with the push of a button. They immediately lock the door from the outside, yet if there is an emergency, you need to get out quick, they unlatch from the inside. It's what we've been doing most commonly at schools for intruder resistance. You see a lot of schools put in like little bars that come down over little handles, foot pieces. Those are not technically legal by code. And the reason is you can't exit quickly if you need to get out as a student or a teacher.
These are for the classroom doors.
Yes, they would be. Yep. And normally that requires replacing the entire latch. You just take the old latch out, put a new one in. Structural systems, sprinkler and ventilation are all in good shape. So I don't have a good handle on where we're headed money-wise yet, but it will be more economical than any 10-year survey I think we've ever done for the district. That's how good I believe the buildings are.
Didn't take very many notes.
So I'd be welcome to answer any questions you might have.
When you say the sidewalk on the east side of the high school,
Yes,
are you talking about the one that comes out of the high school on the east side, or the one that runs down along the parking lot?
well, there's actually the one is coming out of the east side, not the one next to the parking lot.
Okay, then coming out the back.
Yes, right around, there's a little circle there.
Yeah,
And it's just, it goes around the full circle, but it's not maybe 10, 12 feet wide, but it's breaking up pretty badly.
okay.
Gee, Bill, you had good news for us.
I did.
Oh,
I think it's really good news. I did.
geez. Ted had good news, you had good
That's
news.
good news.
Wow.
That's right.
Technically, I guess both of them were your good news and you can't share it.
That's fine. I'm happy to share. That's very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill, we
You
appreciate
bet.
it.
Well, you bet, thank you.
Okay, leasing and or purchasing of school buses.
Okay. Enclosed in your board packet is a proposal to look at what the cost would be to go ahead and lease 5 more buses. That's 2 years ago, we leased 3. This current year, we have 5 leased buses, and it's been going great. Whenever there's an issue, they have their own mechanic to fix it, trade out buses. It's very cost effective right now. And I have Ryan here to help answer any specific questions dealing with the buses. But in the board packet, you'll see that there is 5 71 passenger school buses with Cumming engines. That's the 2023 version. And also we have 5 available of 2022, but with a DD5 engine for a little bit less money per year. And then there's the total cost in order to purchase that bus, looking about 100,000. It's 92 to 100,000 to purchase a bus. But right now leasing has been, I think the direction has been working out for us, and I'd like to have that discussion. And if you notice, the second page of the packet there actually lists all of our buses we have in our fleet, as how old they are, as well how many miles they have, if they were overhauled, and where they're at in the leases as well. And we kind of earmarked the 5 buses that Ryan and I are thinking that would be great to go ahead and replace with a lease bus. Of course, they would be bought out from the leasing company, so that would take care of a lease payment right there from each bus from what they would buy us out on. So I'd like to just get permission to kind of pursue one of these directions. My recommendation is to at least 5 more of the Cummings engine buses. That's my recommendation. I'll be more than happy to explore any avenue.
Seems like, that's worked out good for us. Why would we want to change?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
thank
so,
you brought that, was it last year, year before?
yeah, we started 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think that's the way to go. You know, if it isn't broke, let's don't fix it.
Yeah, I think the eye on the future is to continue down this path. I think it'd be beneficial to the district to continue to keep an eye on the growth of electric school buses. There is potential there if bus prices get down to be reasonable to potentially go with electric buses and do a solar array at the bus garage to help feed those. Still a little ways out. There is some federal money that's supposed to be coming that supposedly is going to get electric buses down to the cost of diesel fuel buses. This winter, I checked it on a little bit. The average cost of an electric bus is still about $300,000. So we don't want to jump the gun on it, but that seems to be the direction that we're most likely headed long term. So start to plan and watch that for the future, and if possible, maybe start preparing for that with potential solar energy.
Who's building electric buses?
Boy, I hate to say it, I can't remember the companies now.
Okay, I didn't know there was any of the
Yeah,
common names. I assume it's
It
somebody
is,
new
it
coming
is.
in.
I attended a workshop on it at the school board conference. There were 3 vendors right now that currently make those buses. They have a range of anywhere from 130 to 180 miles on a single charge. I could definitely see, again, if it's cost effective, long term, potentially moving towards anywhere from half to 2/3 of our fleet at some point in time potentially being electric buses. Like I think we're a ways out, but it's something as we look at buses and leases along the way to consider. At this point, as far as I know, you cannot lease electric buses. Hopefully it gets there someday. So if that opportunity comes in the future, we might make a change then. But it appears as if long term it is coming.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Matt, Lori?
No.
No question.
Okay. So tell him to go ahead and pursue it.
I think so.
Tom, Lori,
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
There you go.
Very perfect.
Hey, Matt, you need to get Caterpillar on that.
Yeah, they quit making.
No. We are not in the on-highway engine business.
They're out of the engine business. Okay.
I can see an electric bulldozer.
And please do not make that a matter of record that I made a comment about Caterpillar. Thank you.
We would not.
We wouldn't do that, Matt.
Okay, C, recommendation for instructional coaches.
All right, so here tonight to ask for a recommendation of pursuing some instructional coaches for the district. I have a quick presentation. I'll start with just some research and why we think this would be a good move for the district and would help our district. So if we start looking at the research, there is an educational researcher, his name is John Hattie. He's most known for a book that he wrote called Visible Learning. And in that book, he conducted 15 years of research where there were 800 meta-analyses and over 250 million students involved. So that was like the breadth of the research. And what they did is they tried to study what types of influences affect student achievement and to what effect size do they affect student achievement. And so in the study, they determined that anything that was over 0.4 had a medium to significant impact on student achievement. So that relates to instructional coaching. If you go to the next slide, these would be some of the tasks that we would have these instructional coaches perform in this role. So the tasks that we'd be asking them to do hit 5 of the top 5 effect sizes on student achievement. So the first one is by having instructional coaches in the classrooms, They bring the impact of instruction to like a visual presence by diagnosing, intervening, and evaluating what's happening in the classroom. And through Hattie's research, he saw that that had the largest impact on student achievement. So that is the number one role of an instructional coach and the highest effect size on student achievement. The next one is using assessment to inform instructional impact and identify next steps. So we're starting this in our professional learning communities as collaborative teams, but we need somebody in there to help guide the teachers with that analysis. So that would be the role of the instructional coach. Again, very high effect size of 0.9, utilizing that strategy for student achievement. The third role of the instructional coaches would be to promote collaboration with the peers and students about their progress. So one of the second highest effect size is when students understand what they're learning, why they're learning, and where they need to go. And so the instructional coach can come in and help the teachers deliver that to the students and be that communicator in between the teachers and the students to learning what they need to know about their progress. So 1.57 effect size for that. The fourth one is nurturing the belief that teachers are change agents and that all students can learn. So instructional coaches become a coach to the teacher, and they help instill and nurture and remind the teachers of the impact that they have on the students. And then the last thing is supporting teachers in explicitly informing students what success looks like. So this ties into answering questions 3 and 4. What do we do when students don't know what they're doing? What do we do when students do know what they're doing? The instructional coach acts as a liaison between explicitly teaching the teacher how to help the students come to that. So in our district right now, we have a lot of initiatives driving to our goal of becoming one model PLC school, and the instructional coaching position can help us see that to fruition. So the most underlying principle of instructional coaching is that there's continuous improvement, that we're constantly trying to better our profession, our instruction, and ultimately the learning of our students. Second thing that ties to district initiatives is that the coaches will utilize the school improvement plans to help the students, teachers, and administrators see their targets and goals come to fruition. We're gaining a lot of traction in that with the hard work of our administrators now, but adding instructional coaches to that position can even help us gain bigger traction in making sure that our goals are reaching exactly where we want them to be. The third is coaches will collaborate with teachers and PLCs to help answer questions 3 and 4. What do we do when the students are learning? What do we do when they are not learning? And then the last one is that the coaches will help the teachers implement research-based interventions. So instructional coaches have time to learn about these research-based interventions and effective teaching strategies, and then equip themselves with those skills to bring out into the classrooms. And so that's a really powerful effect size that can happen in student achievement. This is an example of just a sample of what it could look like. This isn't set in stone. So we would call it coaching cycles for these coaches. And those cycles can be initiated by the teachers, maybe the entire PLC team, or maybe administrators. And then they could maybe go 2 different paths. So they could choose the path of, let's just meet as adults, let's just plan together, let's identify what our current reality is, let's construct a plan and a timeline for implementing, and then let's monitor that plan. And then after they do that, the next part of that would be for the teacher to actually implement the plan by themselves, and then meet back with the coach to discuss what the progress was, make adaptations, and identify any means for additional support. So that's one track that the coaching could take. Another way that it could take is that the coach actually goes into the classroom and models instruction for the teachers. So if that was the path that it took, the first thing again would be to identify that current reality, where the students are in their learning, construct a plan and a timeline for implementation. But then the difference would be the coach comes into the classroom, implements and models the effective teaching strategies for the teacher. Teacher observes, then they meet and discuss what they saw, what they did, and there's a gradual release of ownership to the teacher. So those are just 2 samples of different instructional coaching philosophies that we could adopt for the district. So the overall recommendation in the perfect world would be 3 coaches, 1 coach to serve at the elementary level, one to serve at the middle school and one to serve at the high school. The coaches would report to the Director of Student Learning, and they would all be here at the administration building. The coaches would be certified teachers, and they would continue to be on a teacher contract in regard to length of time. So that is all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
Would this be something we start next year? Or
So
something we try to put in place now?
the hope would be that we would work towards recruiting and coming up with job descriptions and interviewing and so forth, so that they could start in the fall. That would be the hope.
You think there's gonna be a hard, of course, this is a dumb question. But with the teacher shortage and things we have, is this gonna be tough to fulfill?
I don't, it is a tough question, and
I
one that I can't
knew it was, I
necessarily.
knew it would be, but I would just,
I feel like there are a lot of teachers who would be excited about the possibility of this role, even within our own organization. So I don't think that we'll have difficulty finding people to be excited about this role, but does that mean that we might have a little trouble trying to find other roles? Possibly. So it's a fair question.
Yeah, and one thing we've discussed, 3 is an ideology. Potentially getting off the ground and getting it rolling with 2 if the board approves that. And then, if finances are okay in the future and the program goes well, then expanding it to 3. So that is another option.
Will those people have special training or preparation for this that we're looking for?
I would not necessarily that they have special training, but there definitely is a skill set that we'd be looking for. We definitely would be looking for our dynamic teachers who are currently dynamic in the classroom, not necessarily just in our organization, but in any organization. Somebody who is a true collaborator, somebody who is innovative, somebody who really meets our 4 pillars would be some of the essential skills that are necessary for a role like this. But they wouldn't necessarily have any specific training that they would need to come to the table with. But I think it'd be important that they'd be willing to get training because, like I said, the philosophical principle of this is continuous improvement. And so that means that you would have to be willing to constantly be learning all of the newest and greatest effective teaching strategies that are out there, which are constantly changing.
So if you think back to when Mrs. Tarvin took on what has turned into her new role, initially it was a digital instructional coach, went very well and has had a significant impact on the district. So this is now trying to take the next step and have instructional coaches that are focused on all forms of instruction, not just a digital component. Julie's done a great job with working with our teachers and had a huge impact on students. That said, she is still only one person, and it's one of those things, if we get the right people in the right positions, it could have a significant impact. And it's our belief there's no better time than now with COVID and the learning loss from last year, and our PLCs getting up and rolling. Now is there's no better time, and there's never been a more needed time for something like this.
Amen.
I know it is a financial burden. It's additional staffing, which, anytime we add staffing, we always look at the numbers of it. But I truly believe this is an opportunity that we need to take to help our students out to be successful, and especially to get our students caught back up.
I think we're kind of getting noted for being dynamic.
Working at it.
We've got dynamic people working for us. We've got dynamic people running the show. I think this is just another plus for the students of Canton District 66. Big step in the right direction.
What do you want from us?
Right now is just to know if the board wants us to proceed, and if so, with how many positions.
Well, you know me, I want it all, but I know, they have the money men here. How about what do you guys think? And you guys too back there, if we proceed with, Julie looking for 2, and we'll see how that goes. And if, we find somebody truly outstanding for another position, we could discuss that at later in the time frame. Where would you like to start and what grade levels, Julie?
And district-wide, across the district.
Uh-huh.
So if we have 2, then I would have in a secondary is where
Okay,
I'd make the break.
so
And
they
I
would
would
do,
probably have elementary, 5th grade would be my, so it'd be pre-K to 5th grade, 1 coach,
uh-huh,
and then another coach would be 6 through 12. That makes the most sense.
it does.
So, yeah, so I think that could work. That'd be amazing to
Okay.
start.
Well, job description.
Hey, Jane, I'm not, it's hard for me to debate whether this is needed or not. So I'll take the advice from Ted and his team and Julie. I'm struggling with the money, number one. That's first thing. And number two, kind of what Ben said, which is, with a teacher shortage, surely these jobs would be interesting, and likely there'll be teachers in a classroom today that would be interested in the job, right? Who have, the skill set, et cetera, that you're looking for. But then that leaves a hole in the classroom, right? And we have plenty of those today as it is. So I struggle. I guess I understand the concept. I struggle with the money, and then how we'll actually, from a very tactical perspective, how the heck will we execute given the shortage that we already have and exists in the state? So just my 2 cents for whatever it's worth.
I know there's several districts around, Matt, that have went ahead and implemented instructional coaches. And one of the things that one of the instructional coaches, by having the instructional coaches, they've been a little bit more successful in retaining their teachers because they feel like they have help there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Side of it.
I was gonna say, Matt, our best teachers are only reaching 30 students. Our best instructional coaches can reach 500 students and 10 teachers at that. So the impact is much greater than keeping our best teachers in just one place. And I do think that it does lend itself to providing that support and that collaborative nature among teams, which we are all trying to do, but we just need more of us to do.
Make sure it's clear. I in no way was implying that our best teachers are not allowed to post for these jobs. That's not what I was implying. What I was implying is it still leaves a hole of a really great teacher in a classroom too, right? That's it. And it's just a tactical execution of it. That's just a reality. So sorry, go ahead, Ted.
That's all right. One approach we can take, and we've done this with other positions when people have wanted to change jobs, is, we can say, okay, we want you for this position, and we're giving it to you as long as we can fill your current position. So like I said, we've done that before in different cases when people have wanted to transition to a different position that was an easier to fill position and they were leaving one that was very hard to fill. Sometimes we've been able to find people and they've been able to transition, and sometimes we haven't and they've had to stay in their current role. So that is a path we could take with this.
I think we'll be okay.
That makes sense to me, Ted. If we can do that, that makes sense to me.
I want to be positive about it. I think we'll be just fine. Even if we have to go hunt down teachers, we'll find them. So I just think it's a
We've got a whole new
positive.
group graduating.
Yeah,
That's right.
get out there. And some people's going to some kind of,
Yeah, we have a job fair at ISU, Illinois State University here coming up next month.
so you know what you got to look for, bud.
There is some encouragement on the teacher search side. Western has done a nice job rolling out some innovative programs the last couple of years. Right now, people that have bachelor's degrees can go to Western, take courses. They take a couple courses in the summer, and they can actually start teaching in August and be on a provisional license. and then finish their coursework while they're teaching and have a master's degree in education. We've had some people pick up on that. There is also an avenue to go from having your paraprofessional's license to getting a teacher's license. They're streamlining. You can't jump right into the classroom like if you have a bachelor's. So they're also working on that avenue, or they actually have it. Right now it's open to, is very specific when they first built the program. I remember special education when it was in it, maybe mathematics. It has expanded now probably to 7 or 8 different programs on those lists, including elementary education. I believe language arts was on there and several others. So I think they said they've had about 120 people currently enrolled in those new programs. So that's much higher than they anticipated when they corrected them. And a lot of those staff or people are already staff in school districts, and a lot of them are going from their current role into the classroom. So that is very encouraging. Mr. Parsons has helped spread the word on those programs, and we are hopeful we'll have more of our staff and community get involved with those and want to be in education.
What, was that Western that had 120?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Dr. Barr spoke last Thursday at the ROE meeting. He said they'd hope to have 20 to 30 people sign up at this point, and they've had to actually expand the program and staff members to cover everything.
Good.
So
That's a good thing.
Maybe we've turned that little problem around.
it helps. And it is advantageous for people to have their bachelor's degree. If they roll right into the classroom in August, then they also get the benefits of the contract of having some tuition reimbursement to help offset those costs.
Yeah, it is. And it's, at least we're looking as a state outside the box.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So Julie, 2? Little 2 people?
We can start with 2.
And you can always keep a third back here in your back head if we have miracle money.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Okay,
That's good. Start
we're
with
good. Everybody, Matt, Tom,
Yes.
Yeah,
Ben, Lori? Matt?
I stated my concerns. I'm a supporter of it, just how we execute it, but I'll trust that to the team.
All right. Thank you so much, hon. Appreciate it.
thanks, Julie.
Okay, Mid-Illini Conference update.
So we had our Mid-Illini Conference meeting, and I'll just get right to the point. The vote was to not expand the conference. It was a 5-3 vote in that favor. Canton, East Peoria, and Dunlap were the yes votes, and the other 5 were the no votes. So that's where that sits. So the expansion of the Mid-Illini appears to, it's not going to happen at this point in time. So I guess Mike's not here tonight, but Matt, my question is for you. I feel like we need to meet with our parent group, community group we met with at least one more time.
Agreed.
And kind of go from there.
Totally agree. We owe it to them, and that was our commitment back to them, right? So
What are the districts that did not want to expand?
Other than Washington, Metamora, gosh, Brad, I may need some help with this. Morton.
Washington, Metamora, Morton, Pekin, Limestone.
it was just us, East Peoria, and Dunlap that voted yes, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty, thank you. Informational items, COVID return to learn, that's hard to say. COVID return to learn plan update.
We have updated our return to learn plan following the 5-day guidance that was issued by IDPH and ISB. And this will be on here approximately every 6 months per ESSER 3 grant. We have to update, revise, review, and give a report out publicly. So that's nothing unforeseen or major changes outside of being able to return to school as long as certain guidelines are met after 5 days rather than waiting to 10. So significant change, but it will get staff and students back in school quicker potentially.
FOIA request?
FOIA request, this is one we get generally quarterly. It's just they're asking about purchase orders, so.
Future agenda items. Anybody have anything specific they want on the agenda next month? Hearing none? There's no
I do-
agenda.
I do have it in my notes to next month to add a discussion item about potentially scheduling a board retreat. So,
Okay. They should all be back by then, I think.
yeah, we'll set a date in February and get it set up for when everybody's back, so.
Okay, yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, what time is it right now?
7:51.
At 7:51, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I so move.
Second.
Matt, call the roll, please.
Ben Bishop,
Yeah.
Lori Coleman,
Yes.
Keys,
Yes.
St. Louis,
Yes.
Tom Snowman.
Yes.
Billy, can I see you before you leave home?
8:46.
At 8:46, we're
Yes.
back in session, regular order. The action item is consider maintaining closed session minutes from July 2021 through December 2021 in confidential status. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Lori,
Second.
second Tom.
Roll call.
Please call the roll.
Leonard, Ben,
Yeah.
Lori,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Oh.
Tom.
Yeah.
Hero.
At 8:47, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Lori.
Second.
Ben.
Second.
Okay,
Give it to
roll
Matt.
call. Leonard, Ben,
Yeah.
Lori,
Yes.
Yes.
Mike, Jane,
Yes,
Tom.
Yes.
So moved.
meeting on.
We got done.
Thank you